And also Carrie, she's gotta have her staff check. Yeah. And I'll make sure that her staff have got to check those temps because, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. I'll let Karen know. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Come on.
We're live.
Okay, I'm coming. I just need to text Karen.
You can't just remember it's recording or I'm putting stuff out there, so don't say names and stuff. Nobody's in yet or not anyway, so it'll be a while. We may need to turn the air on and we may need to drop that the shade because it's got a funny hue to it. Hey, Finny Buns, you gotta come up here first, bub. Let's see. Let's go to our channel. Pause. Again, I'm not 100% sure if anybody's going to show up or not, but I am waiting for that first person to say hi in chat before I pop our Chomp Like Me. And then we'll get started here shortly. We're still getting a few more things taken care of in the background. Yeah, well, how does it get so cold so fast? At least the air conditioning works in the hotel for real. So guys, if you're in, I can't see anything right now as far as stuff because it's really bright in here and the text is just slow. So, hey Dragon Dancer, we're good. We're currently still in hotel in Clewiston. I have to check out tomorrow. Not sure where we are going to go after that temporarily with the animals, but we shall figure it out. But we are continuing as normal. We are having a shortened version today, obviously, of service. We have a few topics, and we're not going to leave out our champagne. Right now, I'm just waiting for Rook to get caught up and come over here. So, and then we might have to kind of move our stuff around a little bit. How are you doing? I know we've been kind of communicating a little bit. We're in good spirits. It's just, we're ready to get back in the house, and it may take another week or so from what I'm hearing. We still have the generator and stuff there. But, it is what it is right now. Water pressure, I think, picked up quite a bit, and I'm hearing even people reporting it's even better now. And they say we can shower and wash hands and do stuff with it, but you just don't want to eat or drink it or, any of that stuff. You don't want to eat or drink or, sorry, Mom, didn't mean to squish you. I know I have a belly, but you don't have to be mean about it. So, yeah. Yeah, we've been, most of our time, including the reason Brad is not here right now, over here, is just, it's been constant with work, coordinating things and putting things together, because his facility still doesn't have water, so, and then now, the freezer went out, and just so many things are breaking and falling apart, so we're just dealing with that. We're having, I don't want to say we're having trouble with linen because the plan is working, but one of my team members is bringing linen down, so everything's good. It's just taking a lot of coordinating and moving around and stuff. So I would love to be able to help our neighbors out. We don't have a whole lot we can do right now. We're still looking for a couple of tarps, so a friend of mine says she might be able to bring me some tarps tomorrow. But some people are saying they think rainy season will now be over because of this. And I don't think our roof is damaged enough to where it's going to leak, but I also don't want to chance it after I get it, all that taken care of. But yeah, it's going to be some big cleanup for sure. We are going to go to the house at some point today. I did forget to unhook the pool. We need to set it up so that the pool does not turn itself on. Because obviously we don't want the pool to turn itself on if it's A, dry, or B, with all the stuff that's in there. And yes, we are drinking our champagne from our Hampton Inn coffee cups. If you ever need a hotel in the central South Florida, this Hampton Inn Clewiston is nice. They've done a really good job. Yeah,
This is extra sweet and good
I know.
for some reason.
And so yeah, so really, I mean, obviously that's the big news, right? I know. So Clewiston, great hotel. We love this place. Unfortunately, so far they're not been able to extend us, so we're hoping that changes. As more things open up closer to home, I'm fine with the hour-and-a-half drive at this point for a few more days because the hotel's nice. We don't have to move all of our stuff.
Yeah.
So that will be cool. Well, here, so we can move that in a little bit. That's better. So yeah, and I'm like I said, we're in Clewiston now, which is a little bit more than halfway across the state. So, and as soon as we're done here, so this is going to be a shortened version today. We're going to run over to West Palm Beach and see if we can't get some tarps and a couple of other things and go from there. The most important thing is I don't know, and maybe somebody knows, but I don't want to start removing our tree, even though it fell in the neighbor's yard and stuff, until the adjuster sees it, because I want to get reimbursed for that time and energy.
I mean, we've basically been doing nothing but work for, what, a week?
Yeah,
More than a
while
week.
our stuff has been sitting.
While our stuff is sitting and
So
not being attended to, so it's calling for healthcare.
yeah,
It's what
nothing you can do.
if you go in healthcare, it's a lifestyle, not a job.
Sure. Hey Ziggy.
Think about that well.
And paranormal, I hope you're back and feeling better. Get a heating pad, get some rest. But glad you guys were able to make it today.
It's a baby.
Yeah, I've uploaded a ton of photos, and they may take the photos. But based on the roof damage and the fence damage, they said they were going to send somebody, which I think is stupid. But, one of the bigger things that's going to need fixed is the PVC. Although now that the tree's gone, I can probably fix the PVC myself. I know how to do that.
Oh.
I mean, I've done it for the fish tanks and stuff. I know how to do PVC work. So I should be able to get most of that put back together if I can figure out where it goes. And I'm going to do as much work as I can so that we can, save a little bit. But, yeah. Yeah, so heating. Which is stupid. I'm glad you're hungover. You know why? Because that means you had some fun yesterday.
Who's hungover?
Ziggy.
Oh, good.
Excuse me. What hiccups. So as you can see, we're not missing a service. I think we'll be done today though, probably by like 11:30, 12. I don't think we're going to go very long because we just have so much we have to do.
That hurricane aftermath, we've got a lot.
Yeah.
Personal and business.
Yeah, we got a lot to deal with today. We got to go check on the cat and the ferrets. They stayed at the house, but they're okay. Open some windows and get some flow in there. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of what we'll do. Halloween themed. Oh, that is awesome.
No. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
And Dragon Dancer, I think there's a bunch of it we could probably put back up. A lot of posts came up, and at least 4 or 5 of our fence posts literally cracked at the concrete and ripped off. So I don't necessarily know if I know how to fix those. And then because it's so wet, the posts that did rip off are like 3 feet underwater. So I don't know how we can fix those until it dries out. And to be honest, we have the 6-foot privacy fence. We're going to see how much it costs to just get rid of the whole thing and replace it with chain link. And then we'll slowly start building privacy back in a different way if we need to. But we don't know. I did pick up a ton of the slats so that we can use those to kind of offset some of the costs. I don't want the insurance company to know that though. I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. Like most of them were cracked. Like I was surprised. I thought that they would have lasted a lot better. Sorry for the eruption inners, but again, they're still having some
yes, sir.
work doing on work.
Oh, good. Good.
But yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to all of this that's happening, we obviously could have been much worse weather-related, but somebody made a comment that I thought was very interesting about the hurricane, and now where we look around and, some people did lose their house. Some people, sorry, we're getting little notifications and stuff, but some people lost everything. Some people did not. And then you have two schools of thought, right? Well, actually, there's more than two, but there's two schools of thought I want to talk about. Yes, Brad has one facility that he is directly responsible for, and I have 100 that I'm looking at clinically. So out of that whole group, the teams, work-wise, they knocked it out of the park. So, Ziggy, I appreciate that question. I'm telling you, yes, the facilities are safe, they're good. We lost power, our generators for the most part, and everything kicked in. We managed very well with what we could, and we had no loss of life, minimal disruption to patient life. And that is not because of me, that is because of Brad and his team at his building, and that is because of my team that decided that they were going to work. There's people going there now on Sunday. We were there yesterday for 4 hours. We'll probably go back today. Our big high ups there, bringing food and gas and water and making. It's just everybody stepped in, and it is amazing. It is amazing. So very, very, very happy at how that kind of worked out and went. So I'm so happy, so lucky, so blessed. So we're kind of watching the dogs, because pretty much all of the dogs are throwing up this morning because they got into something while we were outside. We don't know what. But yeah, it really did, and that's kind of the topic for today. Is when we look at it from some standpoints, people say, well, how is there a God and or gods or God? Well, let's do it just from the perspective of how is there a God that would allow all these things to happen? And that's one of the things that I think is kind of a misnomer. It's one of the things that I disagree with, right? Because I don't believe in one God. That is really concerning me, guys. Every one of our dogs has thrown up this morning, and it just makes me wonder: is it the water? I mean, we're in a place that has good water, but hold on, I gotta clean up something really quick. Oh, Bubby. I'm sorry you don't feel good. So it's been rough. This part, I want my babies all to be back home. But they definitely got into something.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem.
We adapt. Bubby. You okay, Bubby? You okay, Bubby? All right, so I'm telling you, it's something. Like every one of them has thrown up today. Like that. Well, not everyone. 3 out of 5 so far, and I don't see where they got into a piece of paper and cardboard that had grease in it from jalapeno poppers that we ate. BG, don't eat that. Toddlers, I swear. Oh. So, yeah. They're just not in a good mood. Like, they're not happy today. Where are you, Finny? Don't throw up on my bag. Not necessary. Okay. So yeah, back to the topic. The utilization of, or not utilization of, my brain is kind of going off center now, but the idea that nature and the universe can provide this much struggle to an individual made me kind of think about yesterday how selfish that viewpoint felt to me. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for anybody else, but for me, it felt very selfish to think why, in my brain, to have the thought of why would God do this to me? Why would the gods and goddesses let this happen? Why do bad things happen? Why did so many people lose their house? And why is that allowed? And why is Mother Nature hurting us? And I thought about it, I'm like, that is the most selfish way to look at it, because we are the ones that are doing that to nature. We are the ones that are doing things to the world, not the other way around. And that is kind of what came out of my little meditation of, and why I feel so positive that, number one, we got very lucky. We could have been way worse. And those that have to deal with these things that are difficult, they're going to have to deal with them now. And I hope we help. And as a community of human beings, we come together to support our neighbors and our friends and family. But the mindset is not what Mother Nature or God or Spirit or anything else or universe is doing to us. The mindset for me is we are the pests. We are the parasites on Mother Nature. And we are. And we try to work in symbiosis with them, and that's something that we work towards, and be good stewards of our planet. That's the best we do, but we still do take more than we give to nature and to Mother Earth. So I just kind of, some people were asking me a lot about how do I feel, how does this whole thing make me feel, and I wrote a post on Facebook that really supported what I feel and why, and it basically came down to, I feel sad, I feel upset, I feel frustrated, I feel inconvenienced, I feel lost, I feel all kinds of things, but I also feel luck, I feel joy, I feel there's bigger and better things coming. And so the second part of that was, when somebody else who's kind of in our circle said something to the tune of, well, I guess we got the trees are pruned and everything is trimmed back. Mother Earth did what she needed to do to reset that balance. So, I mean, absolutely and on point, right? We build houses so close to the sea, and she wanted her sea back, her land back. She took it. We're going to rebuild it, of course, put something else there. But we've been reset, and that is keeping, I think that is one of the things that keeps us humble and limited in our scope. So that's really where that came from, is this whole idea that now the world has pruned itself. And so the last couple of tarot readings before we even knew Ian was coming was cutting the excess, trimming the fat, and letting go of the things that don't serve you so that you can move forward. Well, guess what? Mother Earth, universe, whatever your source is, did just that. Grabbed a knife and said, this little part is rotten. I'm not saying people that got affected are rotten. That's not my point. But let's cut off all this excess, and then we're going to allow it to flourish. Just like when a forest fire occurs, forest fires are a natural phenomenon. Absolutely, we make it worse. We start some of them, if not all, the majority of them. But lightning does happen, and forest fires do occur on their own. And what grows back generally afterwards? Bigger, stronger, better, fertilized, and growth, right? So it's kind of the same idea to me. Again, I don't want it to sound like I'm being thoughtful or insensitive to those that have lost everything, because from a human perspective, we have to support our families, our neighbors, our people around us. We have to be present for them, and we have to support each other, to get things back to normal, and recognize some lost everything, where we are just complaining about the loss of a pool cage and a couple roof tiles. Some people lost a roof and a house. We got lucky, and we're still going to support and offer to those that have much bigger losses. But ultimately, we can't blame that on Mother Earth or the universe or the source or God. To me, there's no such thing as acts of God in that perspective. They are acts of nature, and that act of nature is the Mother Earth, and that's just what we have to deal with. Hey, little tree sap, how's it going? Brad is currently doing some work. He's getting a couple of updates done. You know, these things as they happen for us, we're having to kind of deal with them just as they occur. So if calls happen, we kind of have to take it. But we are still celebrating with our Champagne. Ooh, that's a lot of foam. And we're having our shortened version of the service today. So, like I said, big topic is really how, you know, humans have to help humans and we have to support each other, but we also have to recognize that we are not the center of the universe of what is happening at all points. You know, there is an external perspective and what do you call it? Permanence, an object permanence of things. Mother Earth is going to do her thing with or without us.
And she did.
She did.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that just completely ruined the entire
Oh, I'm sorry.
conversation that I had. You mother effer. You're having a bad day today. You're going to get that out. Let's get some sage. I'm going to make some tea with some sage, and he's going to drink it, and you'll watch the demons come out. Sorry, demons.
I will do it.
I'm just kidding.
But they're my friends today.
Yeah. Finny! Finn just threw up, by the way, and you're sitting where you threw up, just for the record.
What did you guys get into?
I don't know, but that's 3 out of 5.
Sally just called and said, do we have power? She said Cape Coral people are texting her saying they're getting power back.
Oh, that's good.
So when we go, we'll be able to hopefully have power.
Yeah.
And tonight we can go home or in the morning early.
That's good.
That would be wonderful.
God, if we could get back in home tomorrow, I'm not counting on it, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ziggy, thank you for that. I mean, holding space is very important. That's a whole topic in and of itself. I don't think people recognize how simple things or energy expenditures really have a benefit. You know? I actually got scared during the hurricane when I wrote it out at the house. I did.
This was a bad one.
This was a bad one.
Like worse than I've ever seen.
Then they say like the I think the damages they say would be between 20 and 40 billion.
And it's the worst hurricane that has hit here in over 60 years. So
Yeah.
Well,
And
500
from a death perspective.
from a death perspective, but
It's probably worse now, but thank you for that. Yeah.
that's you really don't realize, you know, what you take for granted, being able to wash clothes, take a shower,
Like
clean
ultimately,
and stuff.
air conditioning is probably one of the most important things that I've realized.
It
Well,
is.
air conditioning, and this everybody knows it, but it's AC, fridge and freezer, linens, and water.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like, it's funny because we're sitting here talking about how are we going to get that tree out. I'm going to do it myself, but I want the adjuster to see it first. They will not pay for tree removal. Insurance, the homeowner's insurance does not pay for tree removal unless it hits your house. So that won't be covered, but since it did hit and take out the fence, it may be covered partially. So I want them to see it because I want to get every penny I can out of that insurance because our insurance will go up after this for sure. Which also pisses me off because you pay into that for your whole life and they still raise your rates. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's the complaints I'm having. I'm not having a complaint as like I have nowhere to go home to.
Right.
And that is what makes me thankful from a human perspective, right? As a human being, I am thankful that I have a house to go to and I want to offer assistance and help to those that can't and don't have a house to go to. That's next. Unfortunately, in healthcare, we haven't been able to really help any of our neighbors too much. Although I did use a generator and give 5 gallons of gas to that dude. So that was helping, I guess. Because we've been spending all of our energy on freaking work, like our patients and stuff. So we haven't had a chance to even really do anything at our house. Our stuff gets put on hold, and I'm fine with that. That's all of the. I mean, like it sounds like a complaint, but some people have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just terrifying to me. There are so many things that we're lucky for, but I think the most important point that I'm taking away from it is
In that thing.
Oh.
It's up here.
trying to make sure
Hey, Mama. See.
Ma and Irish are the ones that have not thrown up yet. Just keeping an eye on them. They probably need to eat soon.
Oh, yeah. Can we feed them now or wait?
Yeah, we can wait a few minutes. I think the really important point is the universe didn't do this to us. The universe just did this. Mother Nature didn't do this to us. God didn't allow this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened. What Mother Nature does and what we do and what our gods, goddesses, God, whatever, Christian, non-Christian, Abraham, whatever faith you are, what happens afterwards is where we go next. That is what the God entity exists for me. You know, and it bothers me when people say, well, how does God let these kind of things happen to people? And it's like, God didn't let it happen. It occurred. The God part comes in for me in our response, in our resilience, in our ability to help those around us, in our ability to just be human and support each other. That's where it comes in. And that's a magical thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It really is. It really is. And I like, you know, I like how people just immediately started helping. I now know more about all of my neighbors than I knew a week ago, and it took a hurricane for it to happen. Oh, that's because human beings, whether we are who we are, we're political, we're aggressive, we'll probably burn the world down because we're stupid. But when this stuff happens, none of that matters anymore. You know, and that is the gift of Mother Nature too. You know? Good morning from the Cauldron Witch.
Good morning.
So, Rook, just so you know, we have Ziggy, Lil Tree Sap, Dragon Dancer, Paranormal Witch, and from the Cauldron Witch now. I don't think I missed anybody, but correct me if I did.
Oh.
So thank you guys for joining. I mean, we're kind of, you know, doing our thing randomly now. But we're not missing a service.
That is, thank you from the Cauldron Witch. That is it is really devastating for a lot of people. So we can only be thankful that we still have our home. It's hard. It's like a whole city's changed forever, and
Yeah.
it's tough.
I think the scariest part is,
For
you
a
know,
lot of people.
where we live, where we live, I don't know, you guys have probably seen some of the damages from either St. James City or Bukilia or Matlacha. All of that is like the Pine Island area. There's one road into Pine Island. You go on that road, that's Pine Island. You go the other way, that's where I live and Brad lives. We're right there on that area, and we have a house to go to. There is nothing left on Pine Island. There's nothing left of Matlacha. I love when the newscasters call it Matlacha too. It's Matlacha, if anybody was wondering. But you can't get there. You have to take a boat. Yeah, you have to take a boat, and that is 10 minutes from us. And you know, Wednesday morning, or was it Thursday morning? Wednesday was the day of the storm, right? The days are all messed up. So Thursday morning, I was able to pack my dog up, make sure my cat had water and the ferrets had food and water, everybody had food and water, and drive into another location that I could sleep in. They had no contact for days.
And people are dead.
Yeah,
And
people are dead. Mm-hmm.
So. Oh.
That's sad. You know, so I've been through a couple of hurricanes. This is my first real hurricane down here, but up in Virginia, which is not prepared for hurricanes. We went through Hurricane Bonnie, which was pretty bad. We went through Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
Isabel was devastating to our family. We lost everything on that one. Because there's tornadoes. That was the big thing. There's a lot of tornadoes that spun off of that. Bonnie did too. Hurricane Bonnie, I think that was 96, if I'm not mistaken, was Hurricane Bonnie. And I think Isabel was like 2003 maybe, or 2007. I get confused on the dates. They're all kind of run together. But I have never seen it or felt anything like this. This was terrifying. This was life-changing event for me.
Before it was so long, so for almost 9 hours that
Just kept going.
hurricane force winds just going over. It's like, when is this gonna stop?
Yeah, Virginia gets a lot of tornadoes. Florida gets a lot of tornadoes, but they're always we had a lot of water spouts. Like we had one area that just within this summer, between spring and summer, we had 4 water spouts on the same day, and then we get water spouts quite a bit that tend to ride up on land sometimes. And then we had 3 or 4 tornadoes in Iona, something like that. But yeah, we get them quite a bit down here. Virginia got a lot of tornadoes with their thunderstorms. It was weird. But yeah, and I think the important thing for me, or like what I really wanted to kind of get across today is, you can't or shouldn't. I feel like it's not appropriate. I should say that, we can't be angry or mad based on somebody else's what they did or didn't do, or what they have or don't have as far as a loss. Sorry, I'm trying to see there's a really bad glare here. There we go. And then we can get the light back up. So, it's what am I trying to say? I don't want to look at it very selfishly. I want to look at it as how grateful I am and how lucky we are from a human perspective. And that makes me think of, how worldly and how insignificant this is. But I don't want to take away from the individual's right to feel selfish at the loss that they have, because some people had much worse losses. Does that make sense? So it's one of those things where you can utilize and be 2 things at once. I think if I lost my entire house and had nowhere to go home to, that I should and would and need to be allowed to feel selfish and angry and frustrated and mad and upset and not be judged for it. And then, my loss was smaller. But I'm allowed to be frustrated and sad and upset about it and selfish. But I can also look at it at the same time. I don't have to pick one. They're not mutually exclusive. I can also say, this sucks. We're dealing with a lot. And it goes back to when some people will say things like, well, you shouldn't complain because somebody always has it worse, Well, yeah, but you still should validate your feelings and allow your feelings to exist. Work through them. We've talked about this on multiple places. Allow it to exist, allow it to process, allow your mind to feel it and your body to feel it and go through it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You should be allowed to feel selfish sometimes, and that you had a hard time, and admit, like, it was hard for me to say, like, oh my God, this really sucks. It's really hard. But then somebody right beside me was like, well, at least you have a house to go home to. And that made me mad for a minute. And I'm thinking, you're right. But then that kind of took away from my feelings. That invalidated me. And I'm thinking, you're right. You really have nowhere to go home. I'm so sorry for you. Then I thought, wait a minute, I'm allowed to be upset too for my loss. That's okay. But I also needed to be sensitive to that other person, that there's perspectives. And I guess my point is, I think it's just important to know that you can be more than one thing. A selfish moment, who said it? It was one of you guys. Who said it? It might have been Dragon Dance. I don't remember. I don't want to call it if it was, but somebody mentioned really importantly that remember that this is a season, not your whole life. This is just one turn of the season. This is just one cycle, and you get through it. I am so proud of our clinical teams and our work build everything. They freaking, knocked it through the roof. And I mean the people that lost their houses and that are, your everyday workers are really the ones holding everything up right now. We are just bringing, the creature comforts, but they held the stuff up. Yeah. A little tree sap, that's exactly where it's coming from. That's my point. That's really where I come from. Is I dismiss my own emotions a lot, and I'm getting better at that over the last couple of years. But I'm starting to learn how to not dismiss my feelings, but also keep them in perspective at the same time. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And Cauldron Witch, at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. Taking all that out. No, we do not need anything, but I can tell you there are a lot of people in Southwest Florida that will. We have means right now and capability to do stuff that we need done. We have patience. We have a house that is secure. Probably too secure because I don't think our lock is going to work to let us in today. We have to climb through a window. But yeah, like we're good. Thank you for offering. But you know, if you have the ability to on the news, there is a QR code that you can go into and donate money. That money goes directly to the news team and directly then to the facility or to the facilities, to the communities. It is not part of that bureaucratic Red Cross crap and all that FEMA stuff. So, shadow work has been great for me. It's been obviously not as much. We did do the next set of cards. We have not put out the video yet. We still have to do it. Obviously, everything got put on pause, but this is shadow work part 2. You know, we're examining our feelings again, like you said, letting ourselves feel it without negating our own emotions and processes, but also allowing other people. And again, allowing, not as in I'm giving permission to them, but holding space for, creating space for other things to exist that may not be completely integrated or often for me. That's really just where it is. And yes, thank you, Cauldron Witch. I wish I could remember who said it, but that was really nice the way they said it. Don't forget that this is just a season. That's not how they said it either. They said it in much more beautiful words, but you know, we're doing this where I am dreading working tomorrow, quote unquote, because a lot of tomorrow is going to be checking out a hotel and deciding where we're going to sleep tomorrow night. You know, that's going to be tough to figure out. Welcome back, Paranormal. Glad you got your heating pad. So that was our main topic for today. You know,
Perspective.
well, it's perspective.
Wake up check.
Yeah. And while you were in there, a lot of, for me, what it was is just allowing to be two things at once. And that Mother Nature and God and all those things didn't do any of this to us. It just occurred. Mother Nature, God got us. Everything else is what we do with it afterwards.
Yeah.
So.
It's so weird, like when you're going for 3 or 4 days just in it, and then when you get out of it and stop, like, what was it, Friday night? I came in here finally, I hadn't slept in 3 days, and just boom, and slept, and then so you don't realize, like, we didn't have any view of what was going on really in it. I know that sounds weird, but we didn't have power. I mean, we didn't have TV. So to come out and then now see all this news and of what happened and occurred is just like shocking.
Absolutely.
We had no idea that all this was
happening
when it was.
Getting up on the roof yesterday, kind of looking around at the neighbors and stuff, and just seeing everybody out. There's people walking their dog, going down the street, and you know, it was nice. It was good to see that people are still trying to do what they can do, and I mean, if it weren't for pretty much 24/7 work and having to be on the phone to coordinate things, we probably would have our yard cleaned up by now and be able to help other people.
Yeah, we would have it done. But
it's a struggle for real, and plus, like, there's no Home Depot at our house, and why would we have a chainsaw? You know, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a big part of how everything that we need to do, and seeing what we can get done. There's a lot of worry for like looting and stuff. I haven't really seen anything too much about that, which is nice, but I'm sure it happens. You know, other people are going around and picking up things that don't belong to them that people might be looking for, and then selling them, of course, at triple what they're worth. Like fence slats. Okay, there's somebody that had like 500 fence slats, and they were trying to sell them for $5 a piece.
Wow.
I'm like, you know, that kind of person. It makes the first thing I think of is so not, is very, I don't know. It's certainly not what I would want to feel. But they need to get hit with that slat hard. I wouldn't doubt it for a second, Cauldron, which the way that house made noise. Oh my! Like, we do have a couple things we're worried about. There's a new crack in the like the upper wall joist, and there's a closet door that never got stuck before. So when you close it, it gets stuck on the door frame. So it feels like something might have shifted. But that whole front room, nothing's wrong. It's in really good shape. But
I completely agree with you, Ziggy. They will get theirs, and the universe will come. I don't think it's a question when you put out that kind of energy. I mean, I think it just comes. Law of attraction.
Well, it's that, and I think we talk about karma, and the law of three. I think the threefold law is pretty interesting, and I know we've talked a lot about that. I don't believe in the threefold law, and like in that. But if you think about it from a perspective of energy in, energy out, as above, so below, as within, so without, then the threefold law makes sense to a degree. It's not that you put out negative energy, you get negative back. It's that sometimes we can speed karma along. It's not really karma then, it's just energy exchange. So we talk about, for example, and this is the best way I can explain it in my head, is if I do a tarot reading for somebody and there is an energy exchange. The energy exchange for me comes from not what that person offers me, but from my connection and how it feels. I get a rush. I get a positive feeling when I do tarot. That's the energy exchange. If somebody fucks with me at this point and I fuck back with you magically, I don't expect to get negative energy back. I don't believe the threefold law is going to push that back to me. But I do believe if I do it out of malice or spite, that it will. It's different. Malicious intent for me does not include wishing somebody to get something to make up for what they had taken or hurt me or others with. For example, I cannot imagine the universe would be mad at me, thinking the universe as a person, right? If I see somebody kick a dog, sorry for the dramatic use, and I went and kicked them in the face and knocked them down, or wished them dead and they got hit by a bus, I don't think the universe is upset with that. I don't think I'm getting any negative karma out of that. And if I get negative karma out of that, fuck the universe. Right?
Yeah.
I got a titty.
Me too.
Oh man, do you need more?
I'm drinking some water right now because of my issues. Will that hurt my issues I'm having?
No. They'll help your issues.
Oh, it will?
Girl, you need a whole bottle.
No, I don't want it to make it worse. Thank you.
But yeah, so I mean that's really the service topic for today. It's not about, how much wonderful things are happening and how be thankful for what you have and love and light and everything is great. But you know what? Your perspective is everything, and we have to be really focused on making sure that we stay positive. But it doesn't mean negating or not allowing us to have our negative thoughts or connotation. You know what I mean? I know certain people talk a lot about balance and how you have to have darkness to have light, and I'm like, while that's true, your definition of darkness can change. And it is a perspective, right? Some people's darkness might be called something different, but ultimately, where we go with what we do isn't a negation or an absolution that feeling doesn't exist. It's just a place where we don't need to live. And that's just that's our process. That's our mindset. That's our use of the world and the universal energy to hold ourselves together into something that's good and beneficial for us. So I don't really have any other news because I think the only thing in the news right now is Hurricane Ian. That decided to go off, went off the other coast and came back as Category 1 and hit Charleston and did some flooding there. So.
This one was rough.
It was.
They said, for Pine Island, they don't expect things to be back to livable for a year.
Yeah.
It's a long time, not as long as when our ancestors got stuff together. Or maybe it is, but
I don't know. I wonder.
it's a long time.
I wonder, like, if there were ancestors, if we had ancestors that were out, let's say, before there were roads.
Like, what did they do? Like in this?
They hunkered down and then the things opened back up and they put their hutch back up and they went out and fished and ate. That's what they would do. Or they were wiped off and never to be seen again.
Or they were wiped off. Yeah.
I mean, we're all part of the same universal energy. If Mother Nature wants Bukilia to be underwater, she's gonna put it underwater.
Yeah. And then I wonder at what point, like, how many hurricanes like this will we go through before we say, okay, that's it, we're moving to Montana? I think after,
Just so that we can have a snowstorm that caves our roof in.
Right.
Or to California with an earthquake, or to Kansas with a tornado. It doesn't matter. Like, there are areas, I'm sure, that are less.
Yeah, they didn't have time to fire.
Yeah. But no matter where you go, there's going to be something, and there's no way to predict it. I will say, I would go through this again at our home, because our home has the houses in Florida are built.
Right.
The majority of destruction on roofs were because of trees falling or things flying, but houses stayed together. It's mobile homes that got really torn apart. That's really where there was a lot of trouble. And yes, they didn't have 9 to 5s, right? So their job was to survive. Their whole jobs that they did were as they came up, and you cooked, you cleaned, you did your whatever needed to be done. You weaved your baskets. You
made your clothes.
All of those things. Oh, now it's my turn. Can you take this thing?
Come here, my petite.
I'll take this thing. All right. Sorry, guys. Brad will finish. Hello.
Yeah, I think you're right. They just went right back to what they were doing. Pretty sure they didn't know anything else or
Hey, Brad.
else to do.
They said they picked up the laundry at East last night. Do you know anything about that? Nobody told us that, even though we asked.
They came to do it.
They came to do it, but they didn't pick any of it up that we know of.
No.
They didn't have a truck to do it with. But I mean, if they said they didn't, then there's nothing we can do.
Oh, man. But yeah, so everybody else, sorry,
Okay.
work's calling and
I mean, that's
it's
good.
probably going to pick up in a little bit. Everybody else doing okay? Every place has its cons. Yeah, that's probably true. That's good, Dragon. Do you guys have power yet?
We have a workaround that'll work for us going forward in the building. So. No. Just go home, man. That's all. That was the biggest need at this point. So then we're good from there.
No power yet.
Well, I appreciate it.
Water?
Thanks. Bye.
A lot of our power lines are out too.
Two people said, I consider that. My DG. 2 people said that they picked it up yesterday.
Okay. I'm so sorry for the lack of communication.
If that's all that we're lacking communication on, I think we can handle that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Is she mad?
No.
Oh,
I think she's happy. She
Okay.
can go back home.
true.
That's one of my staff members. Is mine or yours?
That's yours. Yeah.
That's one of my staff members who was doing the linen stuff. She's like, "Is you sure you'll do anything we ask her to?" So, but I did want to get her back as soon as possible because she's got to work on their roof tarp. They lost some of the roof and their boat. Now that's her retirement plan. Her retirement plan
Mm-hmm.
is the boat.
Mm.
Ours is the RV. That is our next thing. Getting that RV. So if this happens again, if they say Ian's coming on Friday, our RV is going
You take
to.
the RV somewhere, and then when I can leave the building and get relieved,
I'll bring
head
the
to
RV
you.
back with potable.
Yeah.
Potable.
And I'll head off to you with the
Come on,
RV.
mates.
I'll meet you there.
Um,
I'm going to get a big one this year, so that's awesome. I That's good. You know, I kind of did the same thing in that when I decided to call my A team, the staff, including myself, that are there at the time of the. I like that retirement plan. Live off the land and charter and trade. So something told me, like I kept going back and forth. I was like, you know, do I go? I think we can go. We can report Wednesday. Because once we report as the A team, we stay there. We bring our stuff. We hunker down. We don't leave until after the storm. So it kept saying, oh, you know, the models kept saying it'll hit. You know, it looked like it was going to move to the left of Fort Myers, and it'll be like a 1 or 2, maybe a 3. Then something told me, no.
Watch out from out behind you.
I think we need to go in Tuesday night, and I'm glad I did it. That was a good call.
That was a good call.
Because we wouldn't have been able to get our people in Wednesday. The Wednesday at noon or 11, it started with the winds, and they wouldn't have been able to get in. So,
yeah,
I'm glad you listened to your voice.
Yeah, and Dragon Dancer, we were pretty, like, we had plenty of water to get us through the pile of water, but and we have a generator, but it's not enough to run our HVAC. And that's really what we need to get, I think. Like, that's going to be a big part of it. We're looking at, once our insurance adjustments and all that stuff happens, where we can save the most money and use anything left over towards getting a house generator. But our problem is we have no piped in gas. And I only know of one diesel generator that's capable, and it's like $60,000.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And that's out of our range.
Way.
So we have to figure out a plan on how to get a house generator, because really all we need is HVAC. We could get a battery, an inverter, for our solar that would allow us to use off-grid, at least use the solar during the day. But it just doesn't seem like it would be enough. Can you hand me the champagne that's still over there? It's on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope you or I hope somebody in this group does win the lottery. I would love it. I played there for about 3 weeks and I quit, so guess can't win if you don't play, huh? The lottery's a good plan. And I like that plan to have a little cluster of folks on the land. I think we should do that.
You know that's been my talk.
That would be really cool. And barter and trade, like Dragon Dancer said, yes.
Well, it's not even barter and trade at that point. If we had land where people would work together, like, and I mean, I'm not talking like, you know, Koresh commune, but just where we're congenial with each other and close by to say, look, I've got corn. I don't have enough to do it here. And, you know, things like that. Because our communities, our neighborhoods are coming together pretty good. But there's so much more we could achieve in life if we had a group that worked together. And it doesn't have to be political or this big thing. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
Like,
a little tree set.
In our local areas, our neighbors, they don't grow anything. Like, they don't have anything. And that's one of the things that makes me kind of want to leave Cape Coral.
Oh, yeah?
Into,
This isn't what I like to do.
into Hendry. Where we have our land and how we're going to build on that 3 acres. If I could, God, I wish if the parcels beside us were for sale, I'd buy it in a second.
Petit village.
Because
Petit village. Little village.
yeah. I remember what I was saying. But yes, our own little village.
Land next to where? Where our house or our land?
Little trees that we are a bazillion% agreement on that. That is what we really want to do. But then, you know, a lot of people are worried about, like, you know, what's in it for me, what's in it for you, and how those things are going to play out on people that don't play nice in the sandbox. And we say that will never happen, but we know that it will. How would that work?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my concerns, because, you know, self-preservation is a thing for some people, and they get into that mode. But I definitely want to put community back together differently. I don't know that Cape Coral is the long-term life plan for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be nice to have our own land stuff that we can actually. Well, we have it. We just have to use it.
And out here, just so happens where we're staying at Clewiston, the Bell area, it's nice. It doesn't look too affected. Things are open. Gas is open. It's kind of like a little country area. And I like
love
it. I love it out here. I like it much better than the busyness of Fort Myers and Cape Coral. Now, Midwest. Woo woo.
Now, if I could find a good price on 20 acres, I would.
Oh heck yeah! We could have horses and sheep
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun.
and cows as pets, but that
Well,
would be nice.
I really, really, really want to do tarot, but I don't think we have the time for it today.
It's a lot going on,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I really hope, like,
Still,
we really wanted to just show that we could keep the service going from anywhere, because
check in.
and check in and just check in with everybody. Like, this is you guys are a big part of community for us, because it's an emotional and social and intellectual what do you call it, fulfillment that adds to the value of our life. It adds to the things that we do. Like, I feel calmer after each of these Sunday services. I feel better about things in general. Things are a little bit easier. I hope you guys feel the same way, because that's really the goal. We hope that next Sunday we'll do it from our home.
And we'll be back to a normal type of thing. No hurricanes,
I hope so.
no issues, no interruptions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, little tree sap. You're right on point. And that's the thing. Like, that, to me, that's the check. That's the gauge for the type of people I would want in the community with us. Like, and I'm not saying that it's our community, because that's kind of how that sounded, but I would want to be in a community where the what's in it for us is, like you said, going back to roots, personal freedom to choose to do what you want. But in order to do the what's in it for us and have that small community, you have to have, like, what if somebody in a small group like this says, well, what's in it for us? I don't need your corn, so you can't have my tomato. That kind of stuff, because that's going to happen.
Tomatoes make your sandwich stink.
But that's what we need. The small community living that humans, and this is what we're designed for, was small community living. The personal freedoms of our ability to choose what to do with our time and energy, but there has to be both. There has to be what's in it for you and what's in it for me. I think what's in it for you and me, when those things are aligned, that's when we get along, right? If what's in it for me, I guess the best way to do it is, I'm going to say what it would be. What's in it for me? The ability to have social interaction when I want it, but not too much. The ability to have people that are closely associated, but still have the ability to shut my door when I need to. The ability to work and be one with the land and do the things, and then have a barter system set up for everybody's having their thing. So, we would need people that do each of the things. But that's what's in it for us, and what's in it for you, for me, and what's in it for you. Those things have to be kind of together. And paranormal, thank you for that. But I don't know that I would want to be a chief of the community. I think this would literally be an all hands on board kind of thing.
A little tree sap, I agree with you. I've thought a lot about that over the past couple of years, and it was in a really good book that I read. It was a Hedgewitch book, and it talked about the concept of life as we know it as the world of agreements, and like the things that importance is placed on, a career, this, that, possessions, instant communication, instant answers, instant fixes, is all a part of the world of agreements, is how the author described it, meaning that it's what people are guided to and told is important. But now, who gives a shit? I always say this, if I don't get, or who for your job, you don't get a report done on time, what does it affect? No one. It's because somebody told you You need to get this report
It's
done on
a
time.
falsely created responsibility.
Yeah. But I agree with your statement on it. That's why we feel disconnected, and to be in a place like that where we work, make, and get what we
And
need.
We seem to find that though with people that are so far apart.
Yeah. But everything's not instant. Instant is convenient, and technology is great. I love that we can do this. But for example, why do we need cell phones? I would love for a day to be at work when there's no email. Email is the worst for me in a work sense. We cannot disconnect from our jobs any longer. None of us. You got email on the computer, email on the phone. Some of you have a work phone. So I was just saying all that. I'm tired. I'm sorry. My brain's like, woo-hoo. I agree with that about feeling disconnected. And we really are disconnected from the natural cycle of things, I think, is what it comes down to.
I think that's funny. Ziggy, not funny, but nice funny. Like, I like it. Seamstress, she can make clothes, but she needs the tomatoes and corn.
Okay.
Okay. So this would be a requirement to me for us that we'd have to decide on. But if you're corn cropping, make sure you're not squishing this dog. You lean back on her.
Finn lets me lay.
It's VG or Ma.
Oh, hey,
I
Ma.
know which dog.
What is she doing?
She's laying on the pillow,
How is she laying?
just like this, and you keep squishing her.
Yeah, I'm gonna squish you, little baby.
Now I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, so Ziggy makes the clothes for the group, right? But she needs corn and tomatoes, but if my corn and tomato crop died this year, she gonna stop making me clothes?
She might.
She shouldn't.
Well,
But if she has personal freedom, she could.
but hopefully you have some canned that you can provide her
No.
from the prior season.
No. If my crops fail, then I'm saying, okay, Ziggy, I don't have any
yeah.
crops for you. I still need clothes. Thank you. What can I do to help you? Well, how can I assist you? How can I offer you a service or something that will help? That's what the community needs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do yard work, but if my neighbor was elderly and needed help and didn't have a mower and they're just behind and waiting on us, I'd go mow their lawn. That's not necessarily my thing. It's like it's not my job thing. It's the same idea, I think. I'm getting very rambly. But, adult things is fine. We need that. That's important to a community.
What?
She says she makes adult things.
Oh, yes. What kind? I'll hit you up on your DMs.
You're stupid, I swear to God.
What's the link?
I mean, that's really kind of how I even envision our shop to be. That we want to create a shop.
Yeah.
But it's really for everybody to community and to gather and to learn and to share and put all these things together and support.
More connected and more isolated, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
With little tree sap on social media.
Yeah, there's a phrase for that. Being more connected but further away than ever. The world has gotten smaller, yet it's never been so big.
Mm-hmm.
There's a phrase, I don't remember what it's called. It's like an onomatopoeia or onomatopoeia, and no, that's not it. I'm just...
Idiocracy. I think it's a movie and everything about it.
So, but anywho, at this point, it is what it is.
It's like you can't see us. Oh.
Yeah, when you get closer, it's because the light's behind us instead of in front of us. I think that's something that we would really enjoy doing. Like I would love to do that. I'm telling y'all, Hendry County is a cute little area of Florida.
It really is.
Hendry County into Clewiston.
It's country. It's nice.
There's a whole bunch of 2.5 acre lots. So we should look and see if they come up. We should be watching that. If we had another one for 10 to 15,000, we could buy it.
Ooh, a bondage company is a seamstress. That's something freaking cool to put on your resume. I worked as a seamstress for a bondage company. That's pretty freaking cool.
If Ma was human, that's where she would work.
You would melt in Florida. It does get pretty hot. But
It does.
that's why there'd be people in our group that just hold fens and fen us. That's their duty, contribution all day. Do you need a fan, sir? And they'll fan for a couple minutes and then move to the next area.
I'm not talking to you anymore today. Yeah. I do wish we had some better seasons, but anywho, so we don't want to go too long. Like I said, I have to drive an hour and a half the wrong way first, and then with the dogs, and then 3 hours back the other way, and then an hour and a half back here. So we've got 6-7 hours worth of driving today. So we need to get on the road here shortly. But again, we did not want to not have a service, and we wanted to make sure that we still communicated. I think it was a good topic today. I'm really glad we had a conversation. Well, I'll say one of the things that I'm very thankful for, even though it's just starting out, is like with Dragon Dancer, you guys helping us with the plants and stuff. Hopefully they recover from the shock. It does not look to me, and I don't know what I'm doing, but it does not look like to me like they made it through. I think even our peach tree is probably dead, and the cherry tree looks dead. They're all like no leaves and hard and crumply. But I am very thankful for all of you
me too.
being present and just being here to chat with us. It definitely is helping my mental health, and my social health, and my mental, emotional, all of it. And you know, that's really where it comes from, is that feeling of community. Even those of you that aren't close, there's a feeling of community there, and I hope that we at some point get to meet all of you, you know, in life somewhere. Whether that's a commune or who knows, you know.
Or as workers in a bondage shop. Whoop, whoop.
I know that's your dream job, but
That would be like just such a dream job.
it's his dream. It's so funny.
I'd be a tester. I'm just kidding.
I bet you would.
Thank you all for joining us
We're going to talk about that later.
for our post. Talk about what?
You being.
Oh, thank you for joining us for our post Hurricane Ian chat. Thank you. Love you all, and the time spent with you guys really does mean a lot. And I know it's helped me some of my bad days, just knowing you all and the things that you say and stuff.
Yep, you don't need to send anything but your love, your thoughts, and your words, you know, and your energies, just interactions. Obviously, we're not going to do an after show today, but we will next week, I promise. But yes, thank you.
Yes,
That is so funny.
Yes.
He wants them for sure.
Who is
All right.
Tamoka Nashabusha?
Good timing. We love you guys. Got to run.
Okay.
We'll see you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
If not
Be
earlier.
safe.